What's going on, guys? It's Lewis here with Crypto Elite, and welcome to another Trading Tuesday video for my market update. I am very excited right now because Bitcoin just crossed over $39,000. It is Tuesday morning. Normally I do this on Mondays and then share with you this on Tuesdays, but I have been working on a risk management video for like 8 hours last night and I am almost done with it. So I'm very, very excited to release my huge risk management PDF and video for everybody out there and for you guys so that you could, hedge your bets, you could learn how to properly trade, and you could just improve and get better and better at this game. So like I said, Bitcoin is at 39,000. It just reached there. I've been long, publicly long. You could look at my TikToks, you could look at my Twitter, you could look at all of my social media. I've been publicly long since around $34,000. I put over $1 million into the market around that time, and I publicly stated that I wanted to sell the majority of my, I got a notification, the majority of my Bitcoin and for that trade at $39,600. So once we reach $39,600, which hopefully we'll reach that very, very soon, I will sell a lot of my positions, a lot of my open trades. I'm planning on selling at least 40%, possibly even 50%, depending on what happens once we reach the $39,600 level. This has been a level that was a target for weeks now, so very excited to see that happening. And once we reach that level, there will be a few options. Maybe we go up and then come down and retest it, on which I will probably want to open up another long position to try to get another move up to say $44,000, $45,000, or the price will go down and it will give me an opportunity to rebuy the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies that I sold at 39.6. So I'm going to hop into my technical analysis video right now. I hope this helps, and we could get started as soon as you hit that like button. So smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and we can get started. So as soon as you hit it, we'll get started. So just click the button right now and we'll okay, so the first thing that I like to do is I look at the Glassnode YouTube channel because they like to have a lot of the on-chain analytics. So what do you know? They have a brand new video just from 3 hours ago. So I will check this out and I will let you know if there's anything I see in this video that I think is important. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed, which is hilarious, is that the market is trending down and down and down and down. I believe it's like 84 days at this point. And you could see that as the market kept on going down, people kept on longing with using leverage, and they would get liquidated, and these spikes in the green are long liquidations. And then the people started to short near the bottoms, near big support levels like here and like here, and you can see that the shorts started to get liquidated, which was pretty hilarious. And now we are at such a low level right now, such a low price on Bitcoin, and people are shorting the market, and they are starting to get liquidated because they shorted it at 32,000, 33,000, stuff like that, 34,000. And that's obviously when you should have been buying. And so now that makes me think that we're going to go higher, or at least that we're going to reach the target price of 39,600, possibly even go up to 44. But that's getting a little ahead of myself right now. So that is the first thing that I noticed. This is also pretty interesting. It's basically showing the illiquid supply is growing. So people are putting their Bitcoin into wallets and not really moving them. They're holding them. This is way different than what happened back over here when the holders and everyone basically was selling all of their Bitcoin. But up here, it's really like during this entire last few months of the downtrend, people have been hoarding and buying more and buying more and buying more. You could also see that during the May downtrend, May, April, June, July, all of that summer downtrend, people basically took their money out of their cold storage and they put it onto the exchanges, because this is the percent balance on the exchanges. So they put it onto the exchanges to sell it, and they were selling it and they were selling it and they were selling it. And then they were started to take it off the exchanges, off the exchanges, off the exchanges. So that's pretty cool. And then also there's the exchange net position change. So this is basically the same thing as this. It's just basically showing that people are taking their money, their Bitcoin off of the exchange. And so people are really just like holding on to their Bitcoin at this point. It's much different than what happened in May. So yeah, shout out to all the hodlers out there. Now, this chart's really interesting. This shows you basically the transactional activity of Bitcoin and what's going on the network, and it compares that to the price, and then it tells you whether the value of Bitcoin is equal to what is equal to the utility. And so right now it's in between these two lines right here, which is basically saying that it is right where the value meets the utility, and it's the lowest price, or it's the lowest value for this metric since really the May crash down here. And then, of course, there was the 2020 crash when COVID happened and everyone sold off, and it went below the actual value of the utility. And so this is, and the last one was back in the capitulation, the first capitulation during the bear market in 2018, where it had a huge bounce. So I don't know, this sort of does make me think that we will probably get a bounce back up to at least 46,000. Although I'm still going to hold on to the fact that we are in a long-term downtrend at this point, and there are many resistances. So I will be selling on the way up. But this does give me a little bit more, I guess, hope or confluence that we will be moving up higher to that $44,000 or $45,000 region. With saying that, I am still selling probably around 40% of my portfolio once we get to 39.6. All right, so now that we got done with that, we can go on to the big macro indicators. Like usual, though, they don't really tell you much. They only tell you much during the tops and the bottoms. Right now, we're going to start off with the Bitcoin Bull Run Index. It is a big pool of all of these different indicators, and it basically shows you where we are. And if we're down here, of course, you want to buy. If we're up here, of course, you want to sell. We're smack dab in the middle, so it doesn't really tell you much. So that is all that I got to say about the CBBI. Next up, we got the Pi Cycle Top indicator. Of course, we are nowhere near a top, so this doesn't really tell you much of anything either. So let's get that out of the way. Let's move on to the MVRVZ score. And of course, the MVRVZ score down here, you want to get in. Up here, you want to get out. And we are definitely much closer to where you want to get in. I'll tell you that much. But we still don't know for sure. So this doesn't tell too much, although it is at a fairly good value of 1. You could see that we did bounce up here. So yeah, last time we were here, we were at what were we at? We were at 30. We were at 31. Yeah, last time we were here was the bottom at 29K, and before that, it was right before the huge run up at $10,000. So it looks like it's a good time to buy. Or at least, let me say this: it looks like it's a good time to invest for the long term, and as long as you can continue to invest on the way down if it falls down. For me, like I mentioned, I'll be selling at 39.6 and 44,000 for the most part. So there's that. Let's look at on the our hodl ratio. Our hodl ratio, we're smack dab right in the middle, just like everything else. So can't really do much with that. Moving on, we got the Bitcoin Rainbow chart. It is still cheap. Pretty cool. Yeah, Bitcoin's cheap. Obviously, if it comes down here, you want to buy as much as possible. If it comes up here, you want to sell as much as possible. So it's still cheap. Doesn't really tell you much, though. It's right smack dab in the middle, just like everything else. And then finally, we got the Fear and Greed Index, which is at 26. For me, if it's under 15, that's an automatic buy. So it is above 15. So it doesn't, right now, it doesn't really tell much either. But it was at 12 last week, which was one of the big reasons why I actually did buy last week. Because once it's under 15, I buy, and it was at 12. So that tells you that it is actually a pretty good indicator to buy and sell. So we got this going on here, and I'm sure that if we do pump up to 44,000, this will pump all the way up to about 60, maybe even 70. And that's where I'm going to sell the rest of my cryptocurrencies up there so that I could buy them when we go back down, if we go back down. So there's that. And then finally, we got the funding rate. And so I just need to exit out of this right there. And let's see when these pop up on the screen. You can see that they are all negative. So that is good news. You get paid to go short. So I like it. And because you don't want to get paid to go long. You want to get, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's negative. Which is a good thing. I don't want to say it's negative, so it's positive. I want to say it's negative, so it's a good thing. So this is a good thing. They're all in the green. So I would want to long here. Well, like I said, I don't want to long now. I longed at 34, 35. But regardless, I think if we go into the actual charts, we could get a much better picture. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in terms of the areas to sell and the areas to buy and like what we're doing now. By the way, wouldn't it suck if it just like nuked from here? I would feel like I would be so mad. But let's go into the actual charts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this go a little bit bigger so that we could get a better picture. And then I will be right back. All right, so now the first thing that we look at in the market scan is the total market cap. A lot of people, they just immediately start off on Bitcoin and they go from there. No, I look at the total market cap. This was the literally a week ago, so we are doing very well, obviously. So I am, this is a tough one because, yeah, obviously, like I say, it's going to come up, and it looks like it, okay, I want it to come up to here, but I honestly, I don't think it's going to come up all the way up to here. That is pretty significant. That would signify a bull market. So I do think that we should take the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, and honestly, if it does have a chance to come up here, but really and realistically, 1.87 trillion is the 38.2, and that's probably where 44,000 will be. So it'll probably come up there and then fall back down, fall back down from there. That's what I'm thinking will happen. But I'm not totally sure because obviously this is a possibility. This is a very nicely weekly closure, a weekly candle. And if this week has 5 more days. So if this week is green, that's really good too, because, this is an indecision candle. And then this is the candle right after that, which shows that, okay, well, it made up its mind. It has made up its mind. It wants to go up. And then usually the week after that is really good. Not only that, but if you follow me on Instagram at CryptoLeet, then you could see that my latest post was a post that had all of the gains in the different months from 2013, and it looks like February is a very positive month. It only has had 2020 and 2014 be red months. So historically speaking, February is a pretty good month. So let's see what happens. And speaking of the fact that it is February, let's go back to the charts. Look at the monthly, because the monthly has closed. So what do you think about this? The monthly closed on 50%. And you know what? That's why I really do think that it'll come back down to the 61.8, because it usually always comes down to the 61.8. So I do think that it will eventually come back down there. But yeah, we closed and now we're opening green. So obviously it's only been, 2 days or something like that. But yeah, this was the monthly close and it makes sense. So, we did come right back into this support zone. This shouldn't really be red. This should be green. But yeah, we came back into this buy zone right here. So that does make sense. But that is, that's the total market cap. So we'll have to see what happens, what happens later. However, let's look at the total 2. So everything excluding Bitcoin right here, we came down to the 50, popped all the way back up, and now let me do a little analysis on here. Yeah, I'm not really liking this too much, because look at all of this previous support, now resistance. It's not my favorite. Yeah, so I think I'm more bullish on Bitcoin, just like looking at the total and total 2. But of course, altcoins do, outperform Bitcoin during like the rallies, and then they go down much further during the declines. So maybe I could get some good altcoin plays in and then sell them, go back to Bitcoin, or sell them, go back to USDT, and then buy Bitcoin again. Who knows? There's a lot of options out there, but this is the total 2. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we did have a 5-way structure down on the weekly, and that does sort of make me think like, okay, we need an ABC up, but this is the previous resistance all the way down here. Let's see if we use the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom. That gives us about 1.11 trillion. So yeah, the total two, this could be the area for the total two, possibly like where it will come up to. For me personally, I am mostly going to base my altcoin positions on what Bitcoin is doing, and also obviously Bitcoin dominance. So let's go back to let's move on to the dominance levels. And so, yeah, this is working out literally exactly. It's crazy how accurate this has been since literally November. It's been nuts. So yeah, I said this was going to come down. Boom, came down. And then I said it's going to come up. And so it's on its way up. And I think it's going to come up. And I do think it's going to come up and then swivel back down. Not good for alts. I'm sorry, altcoin holders. But yeah, no, I definitely think that altcoins will get crushed. Altcoins will get absolutely crushed once this turns back around. I don't really see this, going up here again and doing that again. I think until proven otherwise, we are in a pretty bearish trend. So yeah, I'm still sticking with this. I think altcoins will do fairly well this week. But yeah, once it reaches this level, this previous support, now resistance, I would probably want to sell a bunch of my alts and come back down. But once it hits this area, man, if altcoin dominance comes down to 55.56%, you bet your butt I will be buying a lot of alts. So I will keep this. I'm keeping this in mind. Put alerts in, all that good stuff. And of course, Bitcoin dominance is just the inverse of that. So we have the Bitcoin dominance chart, and I'm sort of just waiting for it. This, I believe, is this would be the 61.8% retrace of this move. So once it comes up here, I will know okay, I want to get more into alts as opposed to Bitcoin. But Bitcoin hit the support. When Bitcoin dominance hits the support, you want to buy Bitcoin so that it goes up. And because most of the time, Bitcoin will outperform altcoins during this time period, and maybe not even outperform them, but it will lose less than them. Although there have been a lot of altcoins that have decoupled from Bitcoin, or at least they decoupled from Bitcoin in December and half of January. So now you really got to look out even more. So now let's actually move on to the chart. Let's move on to Bitcoin. So actually, let's go to the monthly, see if we could figure anything out there on the monthly chart. So yeah, so mad that it did not come down to 32,151 because that is where I thought the new floor was going to be. But regardless, we got in at 34K, so 35, sorry. And now we're just waiting. But yeah, look at it. I mean, let's look at this. Look at this. This is the monthly chart. We had a red month in November. We had a red month in December. We had a red month in January. You think we're gonna have 4 red months in a row? When did we have four red months in a row? Literally the last time we had 4 red months in a row was in November. It was in 2018. And during the biggest bear market ever. Well, I don't know about ever, but during a big ass bear market. Yeah, we haven't had 4 red months in a row in a very long time. So I'm sort of thinking February will be green. I'm sort of thinking February will be green. And just like the other chart, just like the total chart, this is a very good weekly candle, and this is another good weekly candle. So we'll see. According to the on-chain metrics and some other things, I'm pretty bullish. Look at the weekly MACD moving up now, pretty good. The weekly, I don't like this, to be honest, but it is oversold, so technically it should be moving up. But obviously you don't want these long drawn out moves, to the downside. That's just terrible, absolutely terrible. What you want is a quick bounce, a quick V-shaped bounce when it comes to the RSI and the stochastic RSI. So yeah, that's not really the best, to be honest. But I do love this. I do love the daily chart. Look at that's bullish as hell. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of what happened back in 2018. Well, literally back right here. Green, just tons of green, tons of green. And then also, let me go back. Where was it? Was this it? Yeah, this was it. Although there was a spot. It was just like lots of green. I just remember, yeah, green, 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 green. It was just a bunch of green, lots and lots of green. And then it went sideways for a while. So we might actually see something like this. We might actually see something like this where it's green, 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 and then goes sideways, drops a little bit. People are going to think, oh, it's going to go down even further now. It's going to go down to 26K, 27K, which it totally might. But looking back at how Bitcoin performed right here at the lows in 2019, I actually almost think that getting in at 32,000 wouldn't be a bad idea if it drops back down to 32,000. Because look at this, it went down to 3,200, came up. Everyone thought the bull rally was starting, and then it had this fake out to 34,000. And everyone thought that everyone sold again, and people were started selling again and capitulating and saying like, oh no, it's going to go down to 3,000, it's going to go down to 2,500. Maybe the same thing happens where we are right now, except instead of people saying 3,500 and 3,000 and 2,500, they're saying 35,000, 30,000, 25,000, and it's a 10x from those levels. But you got to remember, people have been in since that level. So, you might be down, but there's still people that are up 10x, and they, it's a completely different dynamic. But regardless, my game plan has been the same for freaking over a week now, which is to de-risk most of my portfolio at 39,600. And then at first I was going to de-risk all of it here, but now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to de-risk it there. But I'm also going to de-risk the rest here, because we're still okay. So this is what you need to understand. Look at this chart right here. Look at this. Right? This is we go down, we make a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Okay, so until we break this structure of making lower highs and lower lows, I'm bearish. I'm overall bearish, and I want to preserve my capital. Preserving your capital is the most important thing that you can do. So I want to preserve my capital, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be, at 30, I'm going to not be greedy, but I'm going to selling the rest here at 43,250. I'll make it an even number, whatever. Boom. That did not work out at all. Okay, there you go. 50 there. So that's where I'm going. That's my game plan. Okay, so now looking at Ethereum, we could see that the Ethereum price came down to 2,159 and has started to bounce up. And if we take the Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, you can see that that was the where was that? That was essentially the 78.6. And usually when prices hit whatever Fibonacci they hit, it goes up to, so it goes up to the 50. And that is around $3,200. However, if we get rid of that, and then instead we take the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, you could see that the 3,200 level is just around where the 38.2 of the top to the bottom is. So I would want to sell a good portion of my bags at $3,150, just like under 3,200, because this is a huge resistance at this point. But this is also a pretty big resistance as well, just the $2,900 level, because you could see there's the major supports back here, this whole big support area, and then also this was a big resistance area back here and right here as well. So $2,900, I'll be selling 40%, and then $3,150, I'll be selling about 50% of what I have left, leaving me with a 10% bag, and I'll have to reevaluate there. See whether it pops up and does something ridiculous, or just see what it does. But yeah, these are my targets, so I'm going to input them right now. Continuing on, we got quant, of course. That's my favorite. So we have this huge huge downward trend line, absolutely terrible. So hopefully it pumps up 25%, and I could de-risk about 75% of my quant network at $129. And if it happens to pop up even more to 143, then I'll de-risk the rest of it there, because it's very difficult for it to pop above this diagonal trend line. And not only that, but because we saw the altcoin dominance levels, they will probably turn around and go back down. I want to make sure that I get out of my big position so that I can buy more when the price comes back down. So hopefully it will come up here. I will sell it, and then it'll come back down here, and I will buy it back again, literally at 90, probably like $94, $93, $92, something like that. And that would be the ultimate. That would be awesome, because then I could accumulate more quants. Next up, we got ADA, and ADA, I started buying in just all around these levels, and I'm averaging in right around here at like 1.046. So this is my current trade setup. I want to get out at the 38.2. This is, 12%. It's not that bad. And I have my stop loss underneath here. So it really should not come back down here. If it comes back down here and closes down here, then that's bad. And I would definitely want to get out. So I think that this is fine. This is totally fine. And this is actually a really good setup. Maybe who knows, if it goes on a run, maybe it'll go up to 1.34, but I just want to get out at the 38.2 at 1.68. So that's where I am getting out on this particular trade. When it comes to Solana, look at Solana. You might think to yourself, why the hell did it pump up from this level right here? Even if you take the Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, this is literally not a level at all. Not a level there, not a level there. It's in the middle of nowhere, and it didn't even really bounce from the 61.8, which is absolutely crazy, because that's what it usually always does. If you take it from here to here, then yeah, there you go. This is the 61.8, but that is completely neglecting this entire move up. So you wouldn't do that. You would take it from here to here, and that's how you would actually do it. So maybe you would have to go all the way back. If you go all the way back down to on the weekly, perhaps, and you go like this, it's still, I guess you could say that it went right in between the 61.8 and the 65 golden ratio, and that's why it pumps up. So it might pump up to 130. Who knows? However, yeah, if you do that, then yeah, that's perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, looking at this now, this is freaking perfect. I can't believe I missed this. This is absolutely nuts. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. You probably don't understand this, but this is like textbook, 5-wave structure up, and then you get a ABC correction down. So go from top to boom, A, B, C, and then hits the 61.8. And shit, looking at this, Solana might actually hit 155. I'm in Solana. I own some Sol, but I did not own it because of this. I converted my Bitcoin to it, or some Bitcoin to it right here, because of the obvious, the obvious support right here. Oh, wow. I must have hit my take profit. I hit my take profit for my Bitcoin trade. So, and that's awesome, because I put a bunch of Bitcoin in there. So that's cool. But, yeah, damn, Solana really rocking. And it might actually, okay, so Solana might go up to 155, but honestly, and that is a 34% gain, but honestly, since I did not get in down here, it's already, that could be that could be like a 12% loss for it to come down here. And I don't know. I don't want to risk that, to be honest. Maybe I could put on a trade like this. I'll put this trade on, that could work. And where was it? 155, right? So is that what it was? Let me go to the weekly. Because Solana has all those VCs, So maybe, damn, that would be nuts. Okay, I'm gonna put this trade on. I'm gonna put this trade on as a crazy trade. It's a great RR, 15%. So that's definitely, yeah, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to end it with this right here. This is the Discord group. So if you want more, if you want all of these trade setups in the Discord group, you could join it at cryptoelite.com/home, and you'll get access to all of these in here that I just went over. And, you know, I'm going to have to render this video now and upload it. It's going to take a few hours. But if you're in the VIP, then you get all of these trade setups immediately. Plus, you get my actual, you know, like what I'm doing, like what I just explained. Bitcoin, I'll sell 40% here. I'll sell 50% here. Ethereum, all this stuff, right? So if you want to join that, you could join it at cryptoelite.com/home. And hopefully you could make some money and also protect your capital, and then get in once we do hit the actual bottom and know when to go really, really hard and learn some, you know, learn how to actually trade. So I'm going to end it here because I want to make sure I get this video out, and I will talk to y'all later. Keep on stacking those sats, and I'll see you in the next Trading Tuesday market update video.